Well, they're 2-0. They're doing a great job. Let's go into this. This is Too Lazy to Try. Obviously, we love his stuff. We think he does really good work. It can get hyperbolic at times, but like it's gay internet drama, and gay internet drama is hyperbolic because none of it really matters. It's not important. But, when there's certain people in public life that you're rooting for and not rooting for, when two of them clash, it's pro wrestling. It's just like professional wrestling. Well, I guess Joe Rogan and Shane Gillis did an episode of the Joe Rogan Experience, and they either made fun of Patrick Mahomes or I don't think they made fun of his wife. I feel like that's out of bounds for those guys. They probably didn't do that, although she does kind of put herself out there.
I feel like they did because she doesn't shut the fuck up.
She doesn't. I mean, the Patrick Mahomes is so cool and likable, but everyone around him is fucking obnoxious. Like his little
that's how
brother.
That's how it always goes with people like that. I remember I didn't meet him I like maybe twice, and I didn't really talk to him. But I used to work at Sunset's restaurant in Wayzata, right? And Kevin Garnett would come in there every now and again. And I think I waited on him twice. And when I say I waited on him, he came in with a big bunch of people, and it was me and three other guys, right? So it's not like we're talking or anything like that. But Kevin Garnett was so just sweet and awesome. And every single person with him was a fucking cocksucker.
Really?
It's just kind of how it goes a lot of the times. Same with Ricky Rubio. I waited on Ricky Rubio when I was at Vecchio's. He was super cool, but everybody around him was just, they're like, the classic, like being a shitbag to your server, like waiting till you're like halfway around. Oh, could you get me more of this? I want that, and just really, really taking joy in running the people around them like peasants because they're in the entourage.
And all on someone else's dime.
Yeah, and like the person whose dime it was on was like, Kevin Garnett was like sweet. Like he was just a really awesome dude.
Yeah.
And he tipped the bill, and we got to split that, which was cool. But like everybody around him was just so fucking annoying.
Tipped the bill like the tip was the value of the bill?
Yes, he always tipped the bill. That's Kevin Garnett's thing, or was. I don't know if he still does it. So he would take a bunch of people out, and he would run up like a $300-$400. He wasn't. I don't know if he probably did it at nightclubs with thousands of dollars too. But like at Sunset's, a dinner place, you're not going to get it up that much.
Yeah.
Unless you're getting trash. But yeah, it'd be like $300-$400, and he would tip the bill, and then we'd split it between three people.
Oh, that's great. Extra $100 in your pocket.
And he was so awesome. I mean, he was always like super appreciative. Like, hey, thank you. Like it's so crazy because if you didn't know that was Kevin Garnett, he just like super humble and nice. And Ricky Rubio was the same way. He was super nice, super down to earth. But all like his brother was a prick, and like Kevin Garnett's sister is a fucking monster. She's like
really the
worst.
Well,
she went to my high school, and she's just a bitch.
I'm just sitting here thinking about being a server and splitting that tip and getting $100 and I'm getting old now because I'm thinking, oh man, back then a good bottle of booze cost like 25 instead of 60. Like I'm starting to get that old feeling. Oh shit. Well, I guess Joe Rogan and the Mahomes family are having a bit of a spat. I'm sure it's one way. I'm sure Joe Rogan doesn't give a shit. But Brittany Mahomes decided that the best way to counter her remarkably unlikable personality and reputation is to be a cunt to the most famous and most well-liked broadcaster in the world. This would be like if somebody had this would be like if Paul McCartney had a bad reputation in the 60s and he decided to fix it by shitting on Walter Cronkite.
Yeah, fuck that guy.
Yeah. Walter Cronkite's a piece of shit, mate. And you're like, Paul, this isn't going to help. People love that man.
The polls came back, and everybody hates you more than Ringo now, Paul.
Or it's like when Malcolm X, like everybody, like white people liked Martin Luther King, but they didn't like Malcolm X because they saw him as too radical. And then when JFK got killed, they asked Malcolm X about it, and he goes, you're asking me to be sad. I'm not sad. I believe it's America's chickens coming home to roost, and as an old farm boy, chickens coming home to roost never made me sad. In fact, only made me glad. And everyone's like, yeah, this is not going to help with the whole everybody thinking you're an asshole thing. This is not, like, even the Nation of Islam suspended him after that. Like, dude, you've gone too far. Like, for the Nation of Islam, you've gone too far. And the Nation of Islam would go out there and preach, the white man they're all devils, they're all trying to divide and conquer the black man and everything else. And then they go to Malcolm X and go, dude, we believe you're being unreasonable. And you got to sit a few plays out.
Sit down.
So here's Patrick Mahomes' wife calling out Joe Rogan and Shane Gillis, and I'm sure both of them are shaking over this.
Like Joe Rogan just got called out by Patrick Mahomes' wife because on the podcast he did last week with Shane Gillis, Ari Shaffir, and Mark Normand, Shane brought her up along with Patrick's TikToking brother, who is the most insufferable person alive. Like, this kid is just the worst.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
no, Jackson Mahomes is like, if they ban all of his social media account, like we gotta find a way to get this guy to say the most like medical misinformation and the most heinous shit in the world, so we can just get him bounced off of all platforms.
Look at how annoying they both just look.
I know, they both look like, and first of all, look at how likable and chill and decent, like the guy who, that's the problem. I was thinking about this when you were telling the restaurant story. This guy earned it, so he values it.
Yeah.
These two are along for the ride, and they're just partying. They don't have to do 2-a-days. They don't have to do any of the workouts. They don't have to have any of the injuries. They don't have they haven't been working for this their whole life. They're just riding coattails, so they're having a gay old time. Meanwhile, this guy actually appreciates it.
Here's the other thing, right? And just over under a guess, okay? How many times do you think the brother or the wife have said to somebody in a heated conversation, do you know who my husband or brother is?
Oh God, I mean, I'll set the over under at a dozen.
Sure. Okay. So let's say it's over a dozen, right? Now let's look back at it. How many times do you think Patrick Mahomes has said to somebody, do you know who I am?
Never.
I think never. I don't think he thinks like that. I think he's just really happy and like, he just seems like a really awesome dude.
Yeah.
And that's the problem is like the people that don't earn it's you know what it is? It's that fucking second generation money trope, right? Like the kid of the rich guy will always be a fucking fuck bag because he's not the one that had to work for it.
Right, exactly. You know,
like the old man that had to like work for it and stuff, he appreciates it because he accumulated it. The trust fund baby is just like, look at how powerful and great I am because my daddy actually had work ethic type shit.
Exactly. All right, let's see where Brittany Mahomes got. Like, and again, these two don't know. They've never heard the term "stay out of it" either. Like, anytime they get trashed publicly, they like have to dive in and like they think they're gonna get a posted W on Joe Rogan, Shane Gillis, and Ari Shaffir. If I'm Jackson Mahomes, I stay as far away from a guy with nothing to lose like Ari Shaffir like the plague. Are you kidding? But these two, like, they fight back as if they've earned it. It's fucking weird.
Right. Like they talk like his wife, legit. I've heard her like talking in interviews and she talks like she's the one throwing touchdowns.
Right. Yeah. And the brother, he's such a little douchebag. I remember when they were doing, who was the Washington, at the time, Redskins player who got shot and killed, the safety? Was it Sean Taylor?
I don't know.
Sean, I fucked it up. I'm really sorry. He was really good too. Not that if he was shit, I could forget his name, but he like went.
But if he was shit, the shooting doesn't matter. Is what you're saying, right?
Exactly. But there was a circle that was painted in
Sean Taylor, I guess.
Sean Taylor.
Somebody
Okay.
said it.
And they had the team colors and his number painted on the grass. And this motherfucker was filming a TikTok where he was doing gay ass TikTok dances, and he was on the fucking number. on like the Sean Taylor like memorial game.
It's just disrespectful. That's all.
Just a douchebag.
I think Patrick's wife is annoying. His brother is on a whole nother level.
Yes.
This kid is terrible. Like most people, I think, were rooting against the Chiefs just because of him, because they did not want to see him on the field afterwards TikToking, which is...
I will say this. I like Patrick Mahomes more than I hate those two. So I did root for the Chiefs in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I don't know. I had to, like, one, it's hard to get me to root for the Eagles ever.
Yeah.
Like, fuck the Eagles. I know a lot of people are Eagles. Fuck the Eagles. Fuck every team in Philadelphia while I'm at it. Some of the worst fucking sports fans on the fucking planet. I would be content if every one of their teams lose every fucking game.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, you've got the storyline of Andy Reid going against them. It was just, I don't even understand how anybody, because I don't give a shit really about the Chiefs or the Eagles, but how could you not be rooting for Mahomes?
Right.
Is what we ended up seeing, unfortunately. So Shane Gillis, he's an Eagles fan, so he obviously was not happy with the Super Bowl results. And on Joe's podcast last week, he brought up Jackson and Patrick's wife, Brittany, and he started making fun of them a little bit. And then they played a video of her like screaming and flipping out after the win. And Joe made some remark about her that I guess she was not happy about.
Whew. How about that Mahomes? He's good.
No.
Sorry.
You know what I like though? I came around on Jackson Mahomes.
Who's
I'm a
that?
fan.
The brother?
His brother that does TikToks, and his wife, his annoying wife that screams.
Oh,
I love that. Think about that, though. Patrick Mahomes, on his way to becoming one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time. And how is his wife and brother known? Oh, his annoying brother and then his wife that screams all the time. And those two act like they deserve fame. And that's their designation. It's remarkable. It's amazing. Patrick Mahomes deserves to act like they do, and they deserve to act like Patrick Mahomes does, and it's completely flipped.
That's kind of the whole, what I'm saying, the whole like dichotomy of like entourages, right?
Yeah.
Because the person that earned it is always, not always, but usually pretty chill because they know how lucky they are and they appreciate it. But the people around them are just cosplaying like they are them.
Right.
oh yeah.
Everyone hates on them, and it actually makes me happy.
Oh, they're fun.
His wife, have you ever seen this?
I don't watch TikTok.
Patrick Mahomes is the best quarterback. Well, second. Jalen was obviously MVP.
Oh, that hurts.
Should have been.
I mean, an unforced fumble is tough. Gave
Patrick
up 6
Mahomes has
points.
a wife that's just wild. She's up in the box. She's like films herself. It's her and his brother. His brother does like TikToks, and Patrick's obviously he's the man. And then he's got a crazy wife and a brother up in the box, like doing all this shit. And his wife's up there like, "You thought you were gonna beat us? Think again." It's the
Right, like she screams like she's a fucking player on the team.
best.
Forcing everyone like Bert to fucking be in a video.
That's what I was saying. Like she talks like she's throwing
Yeah.
a touchdown.
Oh yeah, she's a lot.
She's a lot.
Whoa, Jesus. Problem is, they keep that same energy when you get divorced.
That's awesome.
Oh, Joe. I love how everyone else is just talking. Joe sits back like a counterpuncher and waits for his one shot. And he's like, I'm going to do word economy here and say 4 words and just knock it out of the park.
Still a great comic that Joe wrote.
Yeah.
That same energy. These kids are going crazy. Who's like football
Spoiled
fans?
kid.
Like
I'm
who,
back.
who
I'm
gets
around.
more fired up than football fans?
I'd say
Football rules.
Proud Boys.
Mark Norman, who gets more excited than football fans? Proud Boys.
So I guess Patrick's wife wasn't too happy about this, so she put out some tweets about it. She didn't say exactly who she's talking about, but this is obviously about this Joe Rogan clip right here.
Ah, shit. So she writes, actually, grown-ass men hating on women in general is pathetic. You know, look, I would have 100% sympathy for Brittany Mahomes, and I would say she is right. If she sat in the booth, didn't bother anybody.
But
and
if she was doing that, they wouldn't be talking shit about her.
Exactly. But
It's literally that South Park episode with the fucking Prince Harry.
Meghan Markle.
Leave us
yeah.
alone. We want our privacy. That's literally what's going on.
Yeah, exactly. So you go and do all this shit. If you go public and you want to be a personality, okay, then you open yourself up to certain criticisms. But if this were Patrick Mahomes' family and they weren't doing anything and people started bringing them up, then yeah, Joe Rogan and Shane Gillis would be pieces of shit, and I would 100% be on Brittany Mahomes' side. But if you're going to sit there and scream in people's faces and cock off and do all this shit, you personally should catch the heat for that. Not your family, not anybody else, but you should catch shit for that. Same thing with Jackson Mahomes. If Jackson Mahomes were some kid who were just watching a game, his brother's really successful and whatever, and then people all of a sudden started shitting on him, those people would be the assholes. They'd be in the wrong.
Well, you know what I like most about Patrick Mahomes is he rarely, if ever, comes to the defense of his wife. It's kind
Never.
of like he knows who she is.
He never defends her ever, and I wonder if it's ever been a problem in the house. Why won't you tweet something about
Probably,
this?
yeah.
And he's like, I don't know, because I'm nursing. Like, I've had a ligament in my knee that's been partially torn since week 3. I really don't feel. I just feel like resting right now. I really don't feel like investing myself in your Twitter and Instagram beefs. Then she tweeted something about grown men talking shit about someone's wife is real weird. They weren't talking shit about Patrick Mahomes' wife. They were talking shit about the crazy bitch on Instagram.
Right.
That's a big difference. Like, there were a lot of people who somebody caught a bunch of shit online last year. Is it Matt Stafford's wife who had cancer? Or some quarterbacks?
Yes.
Some quarterback's wife was a cancer survivor, and somebody shit on them for something, and everybody just completely descended upon that person. Because it's like, Kelly Stafford is a private citizen. She doesn't go out there and try to make herself famous. She's off limits. You don't talk about her. But now, if Kelly Stafford was out there cocking off to all the opponents, and she was, putting out videos telling everybody, you suck, you thought you could beat us. Well, now you've entered the arena, as it were.
Have you seen the video of him and his wife at that basketball game where he's like, no more bitch face?
Oh, yeah. I have seen that one.
That's one of my favorites because it illustrates exactly what I'm talking about. Because she's like just being crazy, and he's like, "Nah."
Yeah, he's like, "Nah, I'm gonna watch the fucking game." By the way,
leave me alone. I'm watching the game.
How many Chiefs players and coaches probably have a big problem with those two, but they're like, I don't want to upset Patrick.
All of them, probably.
All of them.
Well, probably not Andy Reid, and probably not Kelsey because she probably kisses their ass.
Perhaps, yeah, that could be it.
Last year at some point, Patrick Mahomes' brother, he was TikToking on the memorial for Sean Taylor.
Yep.
And then I also remember there's a story about him like going to a restaurant and he couldn't get a table or something, so he flipped out.
Yeah.
Like, this kid is just the worst.
There you go, Corey. There's the "do you know who my brother is" thing. So there's at least one.
That's what I'm saying. I guarantee you every other word out of his fucking mouth is, "Do you know who my brother is?" And with Brittany, every other word out of her mouth is, "Do you know who my husband is?" And meanwhile, Patrick Mahomes is like, "Holy shit, do you guys know how good Tom Brady is?"
And like, what's her like goal with going after Joe Rogan and Shane Gillis? Those two are not going to mention you again. They're not going to bring up your Instagrams. They're not going to bring up anything like that. So you're just like,
I don't think it's a goal thing. I think she's just a narcissist, and it's like purely defense.
yeah, I was just going to say,
Like they're talking shit, so she has to lash out and make them look. I mean, how many times over the last 4 years have people tried to cancel Joe Rogan?
oh God, yeah, probably once a quarter.
This is the normal behavior pattern for people who are fucking wigged out now, right?
Yeah.
You get mad, you go in, and like it's classic right here. I mean, like she is the very definition of that fucking suburban liberal wine mom that we like to joke about, you know? Because it's like look at the even like actual grown ass men hating on women in general is pathetic, right? So a woman acting like an absolute lunatic can't be commented on anything but other women,
Right.
That's what you're saying.
Exactly. Well, and there's also the narcissism, yes, but there's also the clout chasing. She wants to tweet about Rogan and Gillis, and there's a part of her that wants them to respond because then it's more eyeballs on her. So she doesn't even really give a shit about that part. Meanwhile, her husband is giving up his body and his brain so that they can have a great life, and she can't shut the fuck up for 5 seconds. But people say like Joe Rogan made the divorce joke. I'm sorry, couples like that usually end up staying together. Where one of them's really meek and mild and the other one's just an absolute lunatic, they usually end up sticking it out.
Yeah.
Somehow, some way.
Well, and I honestly think Patrick Mahomes will probably stick it out because they have kids together.
Right.
Most
Like I think that he wants to be the guy, like, he's the dad now. And
the image,
it's one of those things where he'll like his kids will grow up like, yeah, dad was awesome, mom was crazy.
Yeah, that's what you hope for. You just go, I hope they know mom was crazy.
Person ever.
Yeah.
And I actually think this season they probably told Jackson to take it easy a little bit with the TikToks, because I remember last year, I think it was before like every game, he was on the field TikToking. This year, he wasn't really doing it as much, except when it got to the playoffs and the Super Bowl, then I think he started going crazy with it. But I think after last year, the team must have told Patrick, like, dude, you got to tell your brother to take it easy here. Like,
that would have been great if, here's the dream conversation that I want. I want Andy Reid going to like Jackson Mahomes, or going to Patrick and going, hey man, you got to have a talk with your brother about the fucking TikToks and all that shit. And Patrick's like, I don't give a shit about either one of them, Andy. You go and chew his ass out. And Andy Reid,
you go do it, coach.
yes. Andy Reid puts his arm around him and leans in. He goes, listen, kid, I knew Sean Taylor. Great fucking guy. I used to play him twice a year when I coached in Philadelphia. I ever catch you doing something like that again, I'll break all your fucking arms. You understand me? All right. Now
Oh,
take
now
take it easy with the TikToks and have a good time at the game, kiddo. All right. Good talk.
No, you missed the thing. If you do this again, I'm going to break off your fucking arms. Now, do we understand each other? Good. Now, come on, kid. Let's go get a cheeseburger.
Yeah, come on, kiddo. I'll get you a cheeseburger. You can enjoy the game, huh?
Yeah, we'll get your attitude a better thing. You're just a little hangry. Let's go get you a cheeseburger.
Yes. And then all of a sudden, Jackson Mahomes goes to Patrick and he goes, Andy Reid yelled at me and said I can't do TikToks. And Patrick's like, did you say yes, sir? no, I
Because if you don't say yes, sir, he might leave, and then I don't win more rings, you piece of shit.
And he goes, no, I didn't say yes, sir. Patrick slaps him in the face. He goes, you say yes, sir, to Coach Reed. And then all of a sudden, Patrick goes back to Coach Reed and goes, hey, he went to me and the little fucking dirty little bastard dry snitched on you. He's like, what? Andy Reid goes back to Jackson and just starts lighting him up to the rib cage. He's like, you tattling on me to your brother, you little bitch? Andy Reid starts unloading on Jackson Mahomes. Oh, I'm sorry. Thank you for indulging me there. That was just a dream scenario that I know will never play out, but I just wanted to play through it in my own head for a second.
I just don't see any of that happening. Like Andy Reid's not going to really care. Like he'll just ban him from the locker room, and then he does. Like that's the thing about Andy Reid, right? All he has to say is like, "Hey kid, everybody's mad at you, but I still like you. But we gotta do some serious inside team ball today. So you're not allowed in the team room anymore."